Hello, student. Welcome to History Chapter 1. My dear student, so far we have studied ancient history, medieval history, and modern history. And we have read quite a lot about it. From where these facts, this is written, how do they know? What are the sources of history? How the history is written? These are the basic questions, my dear student. And if it is written, is it authentic? Is it genuine? Is it relevant? So, dear student, we are going to begin the first chapter of history, that is historiography, development in the West. How history is written. So, here, first of all, you must have got confused. What is historiography? What you are talking about, sir? Relax, my dear student. Historiography means nothing but how to write history. We'll go to the definition afterwards. Before that, we'll have a look of it. Historical research, historical writings, and studies are carried out with an objective of understanding chronology of the past event and their interconnection. So, from this, we will come to know that understanding is most important. Secondly, chronological past event. So, what do you mean by chronology? Chronology means the lineage, the line, which incidents happen in the past, before Christian era, before common era, and which other events after the common era. So we have to go sequence wise. I can give you an example. Suppose we take an example of 1857 War of Independence. After that, mm, Britishers were not allowing us were not giving ready to give us the freedom, and at the same time, British East India Company were taken off, and British Parliament started ruling the nation. After that, the the Congress was established in 1885. Immediately after that, Tilak came into picture. Tilak expired in 1920, and at the same time Gandhiji came into the show. And then Gandhiji had civil disobedience, non-cooperation movement, and go back Simon, and the last movement is Quit India movement. So this event, as it goes according, this is called as chronology, according to the time, according to the date. So chronology of the past event and their interconnection. How Mangal Pandey shot dead his higher officer. Because of that, the British Parliament took up the charge of India. Because of this, the Indian National Congress was established. The moderates and the extremist Congress was split into two. So we have to interconnect all these events, all these facts together, and try to study the history, it is an ongoing process, continuous process. And therefore, my dear student, how to study history? Empirical method, which is called an laboratory method. As we go in the laboratory and put few chemicals together, and we know that the result of it is this. Today you do this experiment, the result will be same. Tomorrow you do, and after 10 years you do, the result will be same. Okay, so this is called laboratory method. In history, laboratory method is not possible, highly impossible. Why? Because we don't have those chemicals. What I mean here is those past events are happened earlier. We cannot reproduce it. We cannot do it again. For example, if we say, let us call Afzal Khan again, and let us call Shivaji also, and we want to see how Shivaji Maharaj has killed Afzal Khan. We cannot recall it. We can recall it, but we cannot redo it. Therefore, recreated structure is not possible in history, my dear student. And therefore, laboratory method, the empirical method, is not possible to write history. Laboratory method, we can come to a conclusion, formulate laws, and we can check the authenticity, testify it, verify it, and then we can prove, yes, these are the result of adding so many chemicals. So we can testify it, we can prove it. But in the history, my dear student, it is not possible to use these experiments and observation. So then, how to write history is the problem. So suppose, my dear student, I I claim that I have one document of history. I have one scroll of Shivaji Maharaj. If I claim this, then what is written over there? I have to have expert to check whether what is written in the scroll. The language at that time, the style of writing, how it is written, who has written it, and if it is Shivaji Maharaj's letter, then is there a Rajmudra? Rajmudra is the stamp of Shivaji Maharaj. Is there? What type of paper is been used? How back this document goes? All these facts, my dear student, we have to check it. So we have to examine the authenticity of this particular scroll. Then we have to check it by certain criteria. What are the criteria? So, letter style, how the letter is written. Secondly, author's style of writing, how the author has written. Now, although Shivaji Maharaj's seal is there below, but the letter was written by Nana Fadnvis. So, is it his writing, or Nana Fadnvis was not present and therefore Raja has asked his assistant to write it? So, author's writing style is important. Then the manuscript date, how back it goes to. Suppose, is it 1650, 1655? Who was living at that time? So, manufacturing date. Type of paper, as I told you, if the paper is used earlier, my dear student, to write any matter, they used to use several things. For example, Burjapatra, Tadpatra, then they used to also have the scrolls. Okay, so this was written. Then what type of paper is it, and to check the authenticity of the paper, then I have to check again few matter which is found in the archives, so that this paper and in the archives paper, is it matching, is it the same, the style of this letter and the style of archive letter, is it matching, is it similar to each other. So in this way the authenticity of the document can be checked, and finally we have to see the seal of the king. When a king used to send letter to the other king, they used to have the seal on the letter. So this seal, is it the same with the other letters, with the other documents which we find? Is it the same over here? If it is, then we can say that this scroll which I have is authentic. Historical research method. As earlier I told you, historical research is a continuous process. So let us see. First of all, we have to collect historical information, highlighting the process that leads to historical transition, how the changes took place, transition means changes, and then carry out comparative analysis. To this period, we have to carry out, suppose we have found any collected material, then we have to compare this material with other material which is available in the archives, in the other monuments. We have to compare it. Then we move on to next is understanding the references regarding time and space of the given historical events, and also various conceptual framework used in historical research method. So once we get these documents, we have to understand it. Then we also find out what are the references given in the library, in the archives. Then we must also see this document belongs to which period, when this was written. Then we have to framework, a conceptual framework. Within that framework, we have to make and research. Then we move on to next is formulating relevant questions in view of the historical references. So historical references we have seen. Then we are going to check the authenticity of this particular document. We have checked the references. Then we have to formulate certain questions. How, why, when, this document, who has written it, when was it written, by whom it was written, to whom it is sent. So all such questions we have to formulate and then ask to this document. Then formulating hypothesis. We have to assume, we have to see whether this document is what is written. We have to check it. We have to assume it that this must be at this period, and therefore this is written by this particular king or particular person to send to the king. Then after formulating the hypothesis, we have to critically examine of various sources of history. Critically means we have to check the negative part of it and the positive part of it. Both the side we have to see, and then we have to see the authenticity of this particular document, and then examining relevant references of the available historical information. Again, when we do critical examining, my dear student, we have to find out again few references which are there related to this document, related to this historical information. So it goes on and on. This is, as I told you, a continuous process. So in this way, historical research are being made. Methods of various disciplines are useful in historical research. For example, archaeology. Archaeology means the material which is excavated, the fossils, the vessels, the pots, the different materials which we find. The study of these is called archaeology. Next one is archival science. Archival science means where the documents are kept and preserved. All the documents, for example, Bakhar of Panipat, you can find it at Pune archivals. So all such documents are kept and preserved at one particular place, and the study of these documents are called archival science. Manuscriptology means, my dear student, earlier there were no printing press, so all the books were written by hand. Handwritten books were there. These handwritten books are called manuscriptology. Epigraphy, that means study of inscription. So one such inscription is over here. I'm going to explain to you later on. Inscription means what is written or carved on the rock, or written on the bronze plate. So such carvings are called inscription or epigraphy. Then we have analysis of lettering style. We have to find out what type of lettering is being done. If you see the different script, or different written on the copper plates. So what type of script is it? It goes back to which period? So we have to find out that. Analyze the letters. We also have to find out the linguistics. Which language is it in written? Is it in Pali, Ardhamagadi, Arabic, or any other language? We also have to find out the numismatic. Numismatic means the study of coins. So during the Akbar's period, which coins were used? During the Sultanate period, which coins were used? During during the Samrat Ashoka's time, which were the coins were used? And during Shivaji Maharaj's time, which coins were used? So all these studies is called a numismatic. Then we have genealogy. Genealogy, that is the study of lineage, which means study of the families. For example, Shahaji Raje, father of Shahaji Raje was father of Shivaji Maharaj, and Shivaji's child was Sambhaji, and it goes down till today. So these were the ancestors. So this is called the study of lineage. So genealogy means the study of lineage. Shahaji Raje, Shivaji Raje, Sambhajiraje, and it goes down. Now we move on to next topic is that tradition of historiography. We have learned about the historical research method, critically examining the historical sources and writing the historical narratives. The writing of critical historical narrative is known as historiography. So, first of all, let me tell you that for answer in one sentence, this question will be asked to you. What is historiography? So, this is the answer, my dear student. Kindly note it. So, writing of critical historical narratives. Narrative means the conclusion which you have written it. Yeah, but how you have written it? You have critically examined it and then you have written it. This narrative is known as historiography. This is called historical writings. And a scholar who writes such a narrative is known as historian. The historian cannot include every past event in his narrative. For example, what the king got up early in the morning and then he went for bath, and then after coming that he rode the chariot and he went to a particular temple. He did his puja. Then he came and had breakfast, and for his breakfast, what dishes were there? All this is not mentioned at all. The inclusion and interpretation of historical event by the historian often depends on the conceptual framework adopted by him. So he wants to depict any one particular point, then he will adopt that method. Suppose he want to show that Shivaji Maharaj was a great warrior, and therefore from that point of view he will write all his wars done by him. But the other author will say Shivaji Maharaj was also Maharaj was a thief. So Gujaratis claim that. So which framework we have to write your history, we have to see. So then his style of writing is determined by that conceptual framework. The tradition of writing historical narrative, that is, historiography, was not prevalent in the ancient society of the world. However, that does not mean that they were not aware of the historical time or were not eager to know about it. They were not aware, they were aware, but ancient people also felt the need of passing on the stories of the life and valor of the ancestors to the next generation. Valor means the shaurya, the uh, ladhai, in ladhai which he does that. So this valor from one generation to other generation it was passed. Ancient communities all over the world use various means like cave paintings, storytelling, singing songs and ballads, etc. So, for example, in the cave paintings, we can see that they used to go for hunting, and many people used to gather around the animal, and the animal was hunt. The storytelling, so many stories are told orally, and they are told to their next generation and next generation. In this way valor are told to next generation. Singing songs and ballads. Ballads means, for example, Lavani, for example, Povadas. These are called ballads, the poems, the songs. These traditional means are looked upon as the sources of history in the modern historiography. So, all these are the sources of modern historiography. Already, Malasang. The earliest inscription in the Louvre Museum. So, here, this inscription we are going to see in more detail. The above picture shows a fragment of the earliest inscription. A forward marching file of soldiers holding shield and spears is seen here. So, all these you can see here, all these are the files, and they are standing in a row over here, and they are following their captain. So they are holding shield and spear. So at that time, what um, instrument, what weapons were used by them was shield and spears. The general is in the front. So here you can see the general in the front, and then the files are following him. That means they are going for a war. The tradition of recording historical event can be traced back to Sumer civilization in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is in the two river, that is river Tigris and river Euphrates. So Mesopotamia is held. It was a part of Egyptian civilization. At present, it is in Iran, Iraq. So these names of Sumerian king and the stories of battle fought by them have been preserved have been preserved in various inscriptions. The earliest inscription shows about dates date back to 4500 before Christian era. It records a battle fought. So this goes back to 4500 before Christian era. It records a battle fought between two kingdoms. It is now displayed at the Louvre Museum in France. Let us conclude over here the first part of historiography, and we will meet in the second part.